This video is cannabis growing edutainment created for viewers aged 18 and over. By continuing to watch, you confirm that you are 18 years of age or older. All activities depicted in this video are conducted in compliance with our laws here in Canada. Oh hey, don't forget to watch to the end of this video for funny bloopers and dumb stuff. Okay, now we know you're a grown-up. Welcome to GrowDaddyTV.
Come on!
Let me do this. Oh, look. She's got some on that
There's just
too.
goop, and is that like THC?
Yes, that is trichome.
Wow.
I've never
Terps.
seen anything like this.
Okay, so
This bud kind of fell apart on me as I'm trimming, and
just a whole bunch.
It looks like I dumped a bunch of crazy glue on there from all the trichomes spilling.
Terpene.
That's
Some
amazing.
trichomes exploded or something, or
yeah,
whatever.
that is amazing.
It's just goop. Is it gluey?
Well, let me show you.
Yeah.
Watch, yeah, it's gooey. Watch, it was stringy. Look.
Oh my God. I've never seen that. It's like pitch on a tree.
Look
like
at that.
Tree sap.
Wow. Isn't that cool?
Terps.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. Okay. Hey everybody, I'm GrowDaddy, aka Patrick, and welcome to GrowDaddyTV Studios. As you've made it, you've made it to season 10, episode 20. Can't wait to show you guys. This is our yield video where we show you guys everything. We take everything out of the jars. We show you each nug. We show you what the quality of the nugs are. We got some really good quality in the tent this season. And I'm a little disappointed the weight. Didn't get quite the weight I wanted. One of the girls even got a few seeds. So there's a lot to go over in the video today because we're going to talk about what we would like to do differently in the tent, or what we'd like to change, or what we did right and what we're going to keep on doing. So let's get to it and get this video started. So come on.
So let's start from the top with talking about our soil that we used this season.
Oh, soil. Soil is pretty basic. We're basically using kind of the Coots blend, but it's not really the Coots recipe. The basic necessity in the Coots blend is, of course, peat and compost, and it's 2/3 peat, 1/3 compost, and then we throw in our amendments, and then we throw in some perlite. And you can see down in our description our recipe that we use, and it's a pretty basic recipe that we use with Gaia Green and the stuff that we use.
Yeah, we put everything in the spreadsheet so you can get all of our soil recipes. And you know what? The previous soil recipes, basically we used to use Ocean Forest, right?
That's right. That's the whole reason why we switched from using just bagged soil. We used to use Ocean Forest and Happy Frog, which is which they don't sell here in Canada anymore. So I either had to decide on another bag of soil, or try to go about making my own soil. And I did, and I'll tell you what, the soil recipe is great. It was working out really good. It's working out really good.
Yeah, you're a real chef.
Well, I'm a real chef. Yeah, I'm a real soil chef. If you're interested in it though, it's in the spreadsheet. All the details are in the spreadsheet for that.
So when you did a top dressing.
Oh, I did. This season I did a top dressing. I didn't do a top dressing last season. And everything started to kind of, well, I could see they were losing some nutrients. You know, the leaves were showing deficiencies as far as yellowing a little bit early. Besides that, we didn't really see any more deficiencies. And it started about in the 7th week. And I figured, what the hell? Why put a top dressing on this? I'll let these girls just flush out. And they did. They flushed out. We got a really good season. Everything looked great. But Miss GrowDaddy put the pressure on me this season.
I'm a feeder, and I'm like, they want more, honey.
Yeah, so you know what? We put a top dressing in about the 3rd week of flower. We put a top dressing on them, and everything, except for we didn't do Sage because Sage was such a small girl.
Yeah.
And she had no signs of missing any deficiencies. She had no deficiencies without that top dressing, but she was small. And all the other girls I did top dress, and everybody looked great. Ivy is the only one that started to get kind of yellow leaves.
Yeah, we figured she was so big, she sucked up everything, and then she ran out of nutrients.
She didn't run out of nutrients. I hate when you say that, Mrs. GrowDaddy. These girls have, when they have green leaves, which Ivy still had, they have plenty of green leaves. She did just fine. She didn't need any more. But she did suck a little more, but she also didn't senesce like the other girls. Her senescing was more turning yellow than the colors that we got from the other girls, the purples and the really beautiful colors, I think.
And you know, we were talking about maybe doing teas, but you didn't do any of that either, right?
We always talk that I'm going to start spoiling the girls by pouring stuff on top of their soil and doing different things. And I never do. And the whole reason why I don't is because I'm lazy.
I won't argue.
Well, it's not just about being lazy though, Mrs. GrowDaddy. It's also about my grow being simple and fun. And also, I don't see the return on doing a lot of this stuff.
The ROI, right?
Yeah, I mean, the stuff that you buy to put on top. So I know you can do cheap teas, but you remember teas, you're feeding the soil, you're not feeding the plant, right? You're feeding the microbes when you're giving teas. And I think watering every day like we do and keeping things moist, I think our soil has no reason to complain. Yeah, I mean, our soil has lots of microbes in it. Not to mention, your roots put off, I think they put off like a, what do you call it? Like a starch. Yeah, that the microbes feed off of already.
Yeah.
And that's not mycorrhiza, the microbes are feeding off of like a starch that comes off of the roots, if I'm not mistaken. Now, I may be talking completely out of place. I heard, I'm not even gonna mention which YouTuber I heard this from. And no, I'm not. I'm not going to mention it because I'm probably getting it wrong. It was a couple years ago I heard it. Anyways, needless to say, I just want to say I'm not a big fan of all the marketing that goes into what we put on our girls. I think
all the amendments and all those things.
Listen, we grow organic, and it isn't as fancy or as, what would you call it? It's not as
intense.
It's not as. It's
fiddly.
It's just they're taking up the nutrients as they want them. The plants look healthy. There's nothing else you can do for them. I know. Yes, you can. You can start applying CO2 to your grow room. You could start using.
Oh yeah.
You could start even using bottle nutrients, even organic bottle nutrients, to really get. You know, to really get your people
pump them up.
To really pump them up if you really want to, and you can also grow synthetically, which we don't. You can put lights underneath the canopy.
Oh, under canopy lighting, we get a lot of people saying you should do it. You should do it. We
get suggestions every week on how we could do better in our grow.
Yeah, it's true.
And it's fair.
Yeah.
Because I know
Thank you, guys.
Well, I mean, I could
keep it coming.
I could probably grow in. Just
cocoa.
In cocoa, and probably have a better root system and maybe get some bigger plants. But then you're running into another problem with cocoa, which isn't a big problem. It's just a problem I don't want to deal with. And cocoa can
it's just more like daily watering to run off and all that, right?
Yeah, it's daily runoff, and if I'm not mistaken, you also have to every once in a while you're going to need to
flush them.
You're going to need to flush a little bit because that cocoa. What do I know? I've only grown in cocoa once, and when I grew in it, I flushed them every day and I fed them every day. I fed them with organics. Every time I watered, I fed.
Get some solutions, like
and then
some liquids.
I saw somebody on one of the, what do you call them, on the forums. I was on 420 forums, and somebody was using amendments. And that's all they were doing was adding water. And I said, what is this I hear?
What sorcery is this?
What sorcery is this? I only add water to my grow. You mean every time I water, I don't have to add, you know, so many millimeters of this and so many millimeters of that, and then put it in and check this and check that. And I said, okay, you've sold me. Now I've got to figure out this whole amendment thing.
Now I can go back to just being a stoner and having fun with the girls.
And then what did I do? I was looking at the amendments this person was using. They didn't carry them in Canada. And then I said, okay, what else is there? Hey, there's this Gaia Green. Who's using a Gaia Green?
Is that when you discovered Mr.?
That's when I discovered Mr. Canuck, because I looked up Gaia Green. Mr. Canuck kind of came up. He was using it, and he was really one of the only guys using it at that time. And there weren't even a lot of organic growers, you know, 5 years ago.
Gee, that was the olden days, kind of.
Kind of everything. Everybody has really moved. A lot of people have moved to organic growing. And
yeah,
you know,
it just seems like
I think they're doing both, but they're also, I think more people have moved into organic growing. It's just easier.
Yeah.
It's just easier.
More forgiving.
Less maintenance.
So let's talk about these nice new lights we got from Mars Hydro and how you used them this season.
Yeah, right now we're using FC 4000 Evos in the tent. And really, they're nice. I like them. They fit the tent, the 2x4 tent, and they work really, really well. But I want to talk about you guys because you guys are all using all different lights. And of course we do use watts, so anybody with any light can kind of follow us and know where to hang their light and how far using watts. Because why? Because all lights are basically equal, you guys. You know, when you put 200 watts on a canopy, you're going to get that with almost any light. Now, what changes in the quality of the light, the better the quality of light you're using, the better canopy spread you're going to get.
Yeah, like even distribution of light, like coverage.
You're going to get the same par or close to the same par on the corners and edges that you would in the middle. And with your older lights, you know, lights are getting better every year, you guys. And with your older lights, a lot of older lights, you'll get a real hot spot in the middle, and the par will be like half on the corners and on the outside.
Edges.
And that's the only real difference. Your plants will still grow. Your plants will still do very well. We did real well with some lesser lights. And you know what?
Well, if you got one of those old kind of lights, then I think most people just raise the lights, like hang them way higher and crank them up to the...
Yeah, but the problem with that is usually those cheaper lights don't come with a lot of watts. So you can't just raise them to the top of the tent and turn them up. But typically, that's what you really want to do with a cheaper light, is raise it a little higher and use more watts on it.
To get the coverage.
Yeah, the higher you have the light, the better canopy coverage you're going to get. But at the same time, if it doesn't have enough
juice,
power, you can't put it up too high, or you're not going to get enough par on any of the canopies. So you got 18 inches is usually a pretty good rule for where you hang your lights, I think. Although there's growers out there that hang them all the way to the top of the tent, but they better have some pretty high wattage using lights to be able to do that.
But I think that you did a pretty darn good job using those FC 4000s all season, like we just watched the leaves.
And I also hung them at 15, 16 inches versus 18 inches where I hung my other light.
Save the planet.
Well, not only saving the planet, but I think I got a few extra par, you know, on the canopy with the same amount of watts. I only used 280 watts, and my light is actually capable of giving me 320 or 330 watts. And so I could hang it higher in the tent and turn it up and use 330 watts, and that would really give me a better spread. But you know, I think about ROI when I think about growing.
Yeah, electricity costs, and you know,
just why spend if it's not giving me a return that I want. And for me, I know I do this YouTube channel and I show off what I got, and you would just think that I'd do everything I could to get the biggest, the best yield, no matter how much money it costs me. No, I'm really growing like I would grow if I wasn't on YouTube, if I was one of you guys. So that's kind of how I grow.
It's kind of efficient and frugal, and yeah.
Just I wouldn't say frugal, I would say efficient, because it's all about ROI, return on your investment. You know,
yeah, I mean, like, it's no matter what. I mean, you're probably going to save money over going to a dispensary, but still, like, it's nice to know that you're doing things the most efficient way.
Saving money? Are you kidding me? I'm saving a lot of money by never having to go to a dispensary. And, you know, I think I'm smoking, you know, just as good of quality, you know, a real good quality product.
And healthy. You know exactly what went into that. There's no mystery. There's no secret.
I don't have to
pesticides or any crap in there.
No, even if I bought organic, even if you buy organic, you don't know what you're buying.
Yeah.
You don't know what they're still spraying on it.
I don't trust any of it.
I don't trust anybody anymore. I don't trust anybody.
We're black-pilled guys.
Yeah, we definitely. I don't trust anybody anymore.
So, how about if we go to your absolute favorite subject? And I know I'm going to have to, like, you know, put a time on you. Your favorite subject, water. Water
it is. Let's talk about water. I've changed my watering practices a few years ago when I went to 7-gallon bags. And I would bottom line is I water every single day and keep it wet. And I also water by hand. I don't have any automated system. So I come in every morning and I water my girls by hand every day. I'm able to deliver the right amount of water using my Blue Mat moisture meters. Now you can use any moisture meters. There's a few good moisture meters out there, and Blue Mat has done a great job for me, but they're relatively expensive. But for me, they're real easy. And if they broke, I would probably go to an alternative method because I didn't know about any other meters at the time. And I was copying what I saw somebody else using. Mr. Grow It was using it.
I knew you were
going to say that. He was using a Blue Mat, and I said, and then I saw a couple other people using them too, and I said, well, I'm going to buy one of those. And I bought one because I thought I was going to dip it into each one.
Yeah, it doesn't work like one.
No, it's huge. You got to buy one for each pot.
Yeah. And they're big, and you stake them in, and you just leave them there.
And you also can't. I wouldn't bother watering every day if I had a 5-gallon. I don't think your watering every day starts until you're at least in 7 gallons and bigger of a bag. I'm able to do that. I think a 5-gallon pot would just dry out too fast. You almost can't, you know, it just.
Yeah. So what we're trying to do is achieve. It's called. We're calling it continuous hydration to just kind of keep the soil moist.
Keep the roots really, really happy and not shock them. Because every time you do dryback is when you water
to saturation
and let it dry out, and then water to saturation. That's dryback, and it's a very common use of.
Works fine, safe.
I've done it. It works fine, and there's still a lot of guys out there that are growing in 3 and 5 gallons. And this is how they water. If they're not automated watering. Automated watering, they drip it in and they're able to.
Yeah, that's outside our wheelhouse.
It's outside. It's so when I think of doing it, I start getting a headache. Anxiety, because I start thinking, well, if you watch my watering segments, you'll see that every week my plants are going up in water and they're coming down in water. If you're on an automated system, what are you doing? You adjusting that every week up? And you're adjusting that every week down. It just seems like more work than I would ever want to do.
You're what's called a hands-on dad.
Because it's easier. I would say it's easier. It's just easier for me. So watering the tent is really, really good. And this grow, we didn't miss one. We had no gnats in the tent. And I guess when you're talking about water, you got to talk about gnats for a minute, right?
Yeah, well, you did. Here's the thing. You were able to water on the top, you know, give them the top watering every single day. Yeah. Because you didn't need to do any dryback, and you didn't need to do any
bottom watering either.
Bottom watering is how we usually combat the frickin' gnats.
Sometimes. Or just a dryback will help with the gnats because they don't like a dry soil. And the top 3 inches is where they lay their larvae. When you dry out the soil, you're drying out that larvae and it doesn't, you know, come up and you don't see it. So that's a good way to get rid of gnats, but it also can stress out your roots a little bit. I found myself when I was doing that really trying to dry my stuff out a lot, and it'll stress your plant out.
Stressing them, for sure.
But you know, it's funny. I had no stress on these girls. These girls had the perfect light.
They had the perfect life.
They had the perfect life. Light, soil,
everything.
Amendments, light. They had everything was perfect, and one of my girls hermied this season, and you know this kind of stuff. Herming a lot of times will get caused by stressing out a plant. I gave this girl no stress.
I will concur.
0.
I'm a witness. They got no light stress. They got no heat stress.
No water stress.
Water stress. They got nothing. No stress.
So and we'll show you which girl it is. Okay. And she got some nanners that I didn't see. And when I started trimming her up, you know, a few seeds started falling out. I don't feel like she has a lot of them, but any seeds are annoying. And I'm sorry, you guys that I'm gonna give it to, you know, my friends that might watch this video, I'm sorry.
If you get a seed.
If you get a seed or two.
So just on last thing about the water though, let's talk about the pH and the chlorine and all that stuff, because you got a method that...
I do. Well, as far as pH and chlorine, it's really easy for me. You know, usually a 5-gallon bucket of water will take care of my girls for 2 days. Maybe a little bit.
So.
No, 2 days. Maybe a little bit more than that when they were peaking out, drinking a lot. I might even need just about 6 gallons. Nevertheless, I mix it up. I throw some ascorbic acid, which is vitamin C powder. I throw a little less than a quarter teaspoon in a 5-gallon bucket. It takes my tap water down to around 6.5 or somewhere like that.
pH of 6.5, which is just nice. And
somewhere
yeah,
in that vicinity between 7 and 6. And it also takes out all the chloramines and all the chlorine. And it's real simple. I've got bags of Up and Down that I bought when I first started growing. That they're still full bags and I'll never use. And I can't tell you this ascorbic acid really, really works well.
It's healthy too. You know what?
Yeah.
We can put it in our drinking water because our municipality does use chloramines. And that's just really not healthy, and it's almost impossible to get that stuff out. It never off-gases. And yeah, you can put it in your drinking water, guys.
But the reality to it is we just drop tap water on our plants, you know, all day long. Allie? Big Al?
Oh yeah.
Big Al, do you
I'm growing tomatoes upstairs, okay?
Yeah, you're also growing houseplants. I mean, do you do anything for the pH or for
I don't do anything about the pH, honestly. I don't.
Or the chloramines?
I do. I drop a little vitamin C powder.
Just a little bit.
Just enough to dechlorinate it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I do.
No kidding.
That's why I'm out of it. That's why I come and thieve yours. That's why I steal it from the GrowDaddyTV studio.
Very interesting. I didn't know where all my stuff was going, but now I guess I do.
Now you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think we need to talk about gnats because, well, let's talk about the gnats.
Well, we didn't have any gnats. We should talk about gnats, and we brought it up real quick. You know, we didn't have any gnats, which afforded me the ability to water every day and then not have to do any dryback or water from the bottom to get rid of gnats. Because for me, I've tried a lot of different methods. And none of them have worked for me. And I've tried them in extreme conditions. And the only thing that really works is dryback. So I suggest for all you guys that are buying all that silly stuff, I'm not even gonna say anything because so many people in the comments say this works for me.
Oh my God, those mosquito dunks. I think we created a new strain of gnat that
Listen, I've proven some things do not work. Okay, I mean, I've had infestations where I was really able to test this stuff out really well. You know, with the infestation, you definitely see a decline, and I didn't see declines when I used a lot of different things. And what got rid of them right away was a dryback.
Yeah.
It was a dryback every single time.
So the final solution this time, and we really swore to ourselves that like this no frickin' gnats this time, and you just dried that soil right out before it even got into this grow room.
Yeah. Now, mind you, when I mix it all up and moisten it up, I have it in bins in the garage, and I have the amendments and everything when I put the soil together, and I cook it, what they call cooking it.
Just letting it sit.
Just letting it sit, but you have to have a certain amount of moisture in it so it'll cook. You can't have too much moisture in it because then it'll go anaerobic and become foul or bad. It's not good. So there is and I do show people what the consistency of that is, you know, of that soil that is supposed to be at the moisture level. And I let it cook for a month or two. And
then when you're ready for a new grow, you dry the heck out of it.
Well, let's just say I'm not that together, Mrs. GrowDaddy. I dry it out for a month or so, and then I start drying it immediately for that next grow. I don't just have this stuff sitting out in the garage, you know, waiting for a new season. I see a new season coming up, and I go out and mix the soil and try to give myself enough time for the...
You go, oh shit, I've got to start drying soil.
The stuff's got to cook a little bit, and then it's got to dry out. Anyways, boy, I said, bottom line is I put fans. I'll put a fan on top of my bins. And for weeks.
All day and all night.
Yeah, it just sits on low and fans. And then I go out there every couple days and I turn over the soil and stir it up a little bit until that soil is bone dry. Now I've tried it. I've tried to cheat on this, you guys, where it's nice and dry, and brought it in, and still brought in gnats.
Yep, you gotta get it bone dry.
Last season, bone dry, no gnats. And don't worry about your microbes, you guys. I heard this somewhere on, I think I heard it on our Discord, but somebody was talking about drying out the soil, harming the microbes. It does not harm the microbes.
I think they go into suspended animation, don't they?
They go dormant. Yeah. I don't know what you want to call it, but all your microbes in that dry soil, your microbes will kind of go dormant. And as soon as you apply water to it, it brings the...
They wake up.
They wake up, the microbes come back to life, and they start working like they start working like they got a reason to be at work.
Like they got a new job.
They got a new job.
Well, you know, like, I don't know, do you remember, did you ever have sea monkeys when you were a kid?
No, but I've seen them before.
It's just a powder. You just add water and boom.
Yeah.
They start out in suspended animation, just like those microbes.
Okay, Mrs. GrowDaddy, that's an interesting analogy.
I used to love my sea monkeys.
Okay. Well, nevertheless, so it doesn't hurt to dry out your guys' soil. At least it hasn't done me any wrongs. As you guys can see, I've had some success. I've had some success with my soil, I think.
Okay, now this is something that I know you know, it's not your favorite topic. Let's talk about VPD.
Oh. VPD, we mention it every show, and you know, it's not that it's not my favorite, it just seems so basic.
It's not sexy.
We'll call it basic.
Yeah.
And VPD is basically your environment. There's a chart. Are we going to show our chart?
Yeah, let's show the chart.
Okay, is it going to be over here?
Yeah.
Okay. So anyways, we have a VPD chart, and this is basically where when you're growing, you know, you try to be in parameters of a certain heat and a certain relative humidity.
It's a sweet spot, like a zone you want to be in between your heat and like your temperature and your humidity.
We grow in all these weird climates, right? We're in a very temperate climate, which is really nice because we can almost do anything here. We have control over pretty much our whole grow all season, but you have people in some extreme heat. You know, you got Arizona, you know, Vegas, whatever, and then you've just got all kinds of different places,
yeah, so
cold places. So environment is really, really important and not so easy for a lot of people to attain. And so I feel sorry for people that have a tough time because, you know, you got to have an air conditioner, a dehumidifier, a humidifier.
And we don't even have an air conditioner, so we get kind of stuck in the summertime where...
We don't, because we got our grow kind of going around it.
Yeah, because we've adjusted our calendar.
Yeah, it's almost July, and we really haven't hit any really, really hot weather yet. And that's why we wanted to harvest and get all of this done, you know, while we could still dry it in something around 68 degrees downstairs without air conditioning. And that's our whole thing is, Oh,
you know what I wanted to say is about the up potting. Do you remember there was a little bit of a, you know, uproar about cutting your roots?
Well, I do cut my roots and people.
When you up pot.
When I up pot and people laid into me about it. And I'm going to blame that on Mr. Canuck because I see him do it. But I'm also going to tell you, for every comment that we had that was, I would say, trying to take the piss out of me for doing it, there was another comment of people tell me they've been doing this for 30 years.
Forever,
And their girls seem to love it. And I don't notice any from cutting my roots. I saw Mr. Canuck do it, and they don't have any good videos on up potting. I know you can take your solo cups, but when you get into a 1.5, you've got I'm just not going to take everything off of the bottom.
No.
I'm just gonna run a knife along it, and we're gonna call that done.
And you don't have to do it, guys. If you think it's not good, don't do it. But
whatever.
But there's another thing about the up potting I want to talk about. It's just something that you really kind of, I feel like you kind of invented. You pre-moisten the soil when you do an up pot, and it is so awesome the way you do that.
I've never heard of anybody. Listen. This is probably the best hack, I think, for beginners. And, you know, as a beginner myself, if you could say I'm still a beginner, I'm a novice at this point. Maybe not a beginner, but a novice. But I can tell you what, there's a lot of stress that comes in when you're putting your seedling into soil, right? Because you want to just I see people doing it all the time. They got a little droplet of water they're putting around it.
Yeah, the babies.
You know, the babies. Well, we put in our babies too, but even the more babies. And I just thought, wow, there's got to be a better way than all freaking out every time you have to water a small.
Underwatered? Is it overwatered? Does it need?
The first couple weeks, is generally the most intense time for growers when they're putting their seedlings into solo cups, right? I found this to be. At any rate, what I do is I pre-moisten the soil, and I show this in the video, and you can see this.
Yeah, just the right consistency, so it's not saturated, it's not mucky or muddy, and but it's got good water in it. Episode
2, episode 1, somewhere in the beginning of our seasons, we show every season we show what we do. So at the beginning of every season, you can see how I do this.
Oh, but you also started skipping the solo cup a while ago.
I did, but let me finish on this. So, because I do the same thing even for I skipped the solo cup. I don't even do the solo cup anymore. Fuck the solo cup.
Fuck solo cup.
Fuck solo cups.
Who needs solo cups?
Well, a lot of people need solo cups because they're worried about their little seedling and just giving a little bit.
Yeah.
Fuck the solo cup. I put it into a 1.5 container, and what I do is I pre-moisten that soil. So when I put my seedling into that soil, the soil already has the perfect amount of water in it. It's got air in it, it's got water in it. And
it goes for weeks without getting water to
and the problem, what you end up doing to small plants, and what you end up doing to small plants, either in a solo cup or a bigger container, is you end up watering it too much. It gets saturated. The soil has no air in it, the roots have no air, it's like drowning, you're drowning in water. When you can pre-moisten the soil to a moisture level where it's not saturated, but it's really, really moist, it's like the perfect conditions for a seedling or any plant with young roots, because there's lots of air. This is what I thought, and this is what I've proven that it works.
They've got enough air, they've got enough water.
My plants look so healthy. They look as healthy as anybody that's spending hours a day with their little dripper trying to drip water on the plants. Agonizing. Right? I put my seedling into a 1.5 to begin with, and I think it goes for the first 3 or 4 weeks without me having to put any water on it at all, or even look at it barely. I just have to adjust the light a little bit as it grows up. Other than that, it is just growing by itself practically. And I don't stress at all about a little plant getting too much water. I know it's getting the right water because the roots are traveling, they're going for all the water, and when that pot gets light, the plant's already bigger, so it's going to be able to handle it. That's when it's time to water for the first time, and then pour a bunch of water. It's 3 weeks later. It's already went, and the roots are all over the pot, so it soaks it up a lot faster. Yeah.
So we didn't have such a lot of trouble this time with the stretch. Sometimes the plants get so tall, like they stretch so much, but this time it was like, other than ivy, I suppose, but like we didn't have so much trouble with the stretch, hey?
Well, I think I started turning the lights up a little earlier on a couple plants. I really don't remember at this point. Yeah, I think that's what did it.
I think so.
Ivy dictated a lot. And I couldn't turn up the plants. I couldn't turn up the lights on all, because I do everything to everybody pretty much at the same time. And I think Ivy was even sharing a tent with...
Sage.
No, with Heather.
Oh, yeah.
In the beginning. The other Shiskaberry. And they were growing too. I noticed that, here's Ivy, this huge plant, and of course Sage, this small plant.
Yeah.
And I had to put them in a tent. But nevertheless, if you go through each week, you could see how I did that. I ended up having to move Ivy. But your question, I lost.
But I think that what we found though, that is like when the plants are like, after you flip the light cycle and the plants begin their sudden stretch.
Yeah.
It's a good idea to kind of put more light on them, like. Fast enough to sort of stop them from reaching towards the light too much.
Well, that's not really what I did, but it kind of is. What happened was, during transition this time, I'm watching Ivy because she's growing bigger than everybody else, taller.
She's such a freak.
She was, and so I'm watching her and the rest of the girls, and I want to give them light as quick as I can, but I couldn't put more light on Ivy because she was next to one of the other girls, and the other girl with her was still stretching and needed to stretch more, so I couldn't put more light on her. So I really watched the other 2 girls, the other 3 girls. Sage didn't stretch, but the other 2 girls were stretching. And when I felt they were getting, like they had filled up the tent and they were starting to stretch up, I started cranking up the light a little bit. And then they still continued to stretch a little bit, but they didn't stretch like they normally do.
Too much.
They normally look like Ivy did, really,
like
really
way
long.
Too tall and skinny and just...
But when you're doing 2 small tents, 4 plants, it's a balancing act.
It brings us to the topic of tent management. And this is where you really have to make some calls at a certain point and just start going, okay, this one's really big, this one's really small, just to get the most out of each tent, right?
Yeah, no, I agree. And then you have to put, and then you want to fill both tents at the same time. So you can't have 2 small plants in one tent and 2 big plants in another, because you'll be flowering that tent a week or 2 before the other. And I'm trying to flower both tents at the same time. We're going to change the lights.
Yeah, so you can flip at the same time.
This is a hobby. I'm not doing this to make money, you guys. You know, I'm not selling it. I'm not, you know, so everybody wants me to, so it's not necessarily about how much you get either.
Kind of like how you make time for golf and
this is a total fun hobby, and if I can talk anybody into doing this and having a good time, I think what might turn a lot of people off from this is all the work they think they're going to be into when they listen to a lot of YouTubers with everything that they have to do in a tent. Not to mention all the gadgets. You know, now I got to bring in automated watering system. Oh, and then you talk about all the temperature controls and air controls and
oh my God.
You know, the list goes on. The stuff that you want to stuff in your tent. Hey, for you guys that, what would you call these people?
I don't know, just people who don't want to get overwhelmed.
No, but you got a guy that'll go work on a car in a garage, and he's called a gearhead.
A gearhead.
He loves it. I hate it.
Yeah.
And you would have the same thing with a guy that really loves to get into his grow, where he's really, the more gadgets, the more shit he has to do and control of.
Oh yeah.
Having a better time.
Having more toys.
I love it. You guys keep doing it, because it's all about having fun and making it really special. For me, it's about making it easy. It's about growing a really nice product and having fun at what I do in the tent, and not making it a bunch of work or something I don't want to do. So everything I do, there are some things I don't want to do. Listen, I don't like mixing soil. We never talk about this. What I hate doing? I hate mixing soil. I hate defoliating. What else do I hate doing? Trimming.
Oh yeah. Well,
I don't hate trimming. But, you know, usually trimming will take me all day. And I mean from sun up to sundown, you know, probably 10 to 12 hours to trim all 4 of these girls in one day, usually every season. And I'll tell you what.
Yeah, you work till like 10 o'clock.
The first 6, maybe even 8 hours, I really enjoy it. And the last bit I do too, depending on how good the bud is.
Yeah.
If the bud's really good, it's kind of rewarding. Yeah.
So, you know, let's talk about, like, okay, the Grow, I would call it the GrowDaddyTV style, like the SCROGLESS SCROG.
Yeah.
I think we're starting to call it a SCROGLESS SCROG TM, whatever.
Yeah, it's not like I'm the first one to do it.
No.
No, I in fact, this is when I first started growing, I saw somebody doing this. And I said, that's what I want to do, because that looks so cool. I would really enjoy learning how to train these girls and to stay up like, you know, like I'm growing them now.
Like a bonsai look. It's a really cool.
Yeah. So I didn't invent this, of course. Of course, nobody thinks I invented this, but we did invent kind of a word, didn't we?
A SCROGLESS SCROG? Yeah,
I think we do a SCROGLESS SCROG. So we're going to trademark that.
I think somebody else
we're gonna
put it up on the internet, but
hey, we're gonna put it on a hat.
Yeah, SCROGLESS SCROG.
A SCROGLESS SCROG.
Come on.
I like it. And not to mention growing the buds on top as well, like I do the muffin tops. I didn't come up with that. That was Kyle Cushman. You know, I do Kyle Cushman chiropractic on the stems, and you guys can tune into some of the videos as I do that. You know,
yeah, to help them stay strong and stay up and support those big buds.
Right, because they don't have a net, you know, that they're growing up into a SCROG. And you could. The only thing different about my growing a SCROG is basically, you know, me training, and a SCROG, all you're doing is letting the net kind of train.
Yeah.
The net is much easier, and
but you don't have the option to move them around or anything like
absolutely
that.
Right. See, that's another thing. It does afford me the option when I do a SCROGLESS SCROG to take one plant out of a tent, to change roommates. And also, sometimes you will see some plants that require more light or less light, and you can move them up or down.
Yeah, on a pile of books.
You couldn't do that if there was a SCROG, because we grow all different stuff, so you never know. So it's really catering, you know, to each plant. And what can I say? Training the girls is everything to me.
Yeah, and you also and you also like, well, we're still kind of like looking for that sweet spot, but the bud pinching, the number of, we count our bud sites.
Oh, go back to Kyle Cushman is where I was listening to him when I first started growing, and it was a defoliation video, and he was defoliating, I think, either before or after flower. I think it was before flower. And he was defoliating, and he was taking off all the bud sites, you know, all the nodes, except for the top one, the top ones. And I said, wow, that's aggressive. And I was a beginner.
It's scary.
Well, and I did that to some degree. And I kind of experimented each season with a plant or two. I never really grew all the way down the stem. I always grew the top portion.
Lollipopping. You always did the lollipopping.
Well, yeah, but I also didn't grow the buds all the way down the stem.
Right.
I always lollipop, but I only grew the top nodes. But now I've defined it a little bit more, and I think I'm a little more conservative by growing up the nodes a little more than I used to. And it gives me a better quality. It
just eliminates the larf, and the trim gel is not so gel-like, right?
Oh, I absolutely, trimming a plant that has larf all over it.
It's just
it's soul destroying. It takes forever, and you don't want to give it away.
Yeah, you just ugh.
Yeah, everything here that we grew, I could give away.
Yeah.
The stuff with the seeds in it, I'm shameless. I'm going to give it away too. I'm going to give it away too. In fact, I might give away most of that first, because, you know, what can I say? The spoils, there's something about the spoils.
To the victor, the spoils.
To the victor, the spoils. And the spoils for me are all the other girls. I don't mind surfacing through a couple seeds, though. Yeah. She doesn't look completely ladled with seeds. She looks like she had a few seeds popping out, or some nanners I didn't see. And we're talking about ivy, you guys.
All right,
we're talking about ivy. I let it out. We're talking about ivy.
The suspense is over, okay.
Yeah, the suspense is over. So, and we'll talk more about that too.
Yeah. So, well, let's talk about the, like, this is always a thing, although you didn't seem to agonize too much this time. It's like looking at the trichomes and timing your harvesting. Oh,
well, Sage started getting quite a bit of amber, and I was looking at her, and all the other girls looked like they had a little bit of amber, not much, but they all looked like most of it was cloudy. Mm-hmm. You know, not a lot of clear.
I didn't see much clear at all.
Yeah, and so I felt okay taking everything a little earlier than I normally do. So I really took it because of Sage, and other girls I felt like I could have left harvest. I could have left for 12 weeks. I could have left them for another week easily. Yeah, nothing wrong. So the time I harvest, I'll be happy. I mean, you know,
it's gonna be some potent stuff. There was like, I didn't see hardly anything clear.
Well, and everything,
in the trichomes.
And for whatever reason, we really did get a lot of trichomes on all the girls. I'm looking in some of the jars right now, just looking in the jars, and I see the ice. Yeah. I see the sparkles coming back at me. We really grew some really good quality stuff this season. This is GrowDaddy.
Yeah. Well, as for the trichomes, just because, you know, there might be some beginners out there watching this, it might be good to just give a little, in a nutshell, basically your trichomes are these little tubes filled with liquid, the terpenes, and inside the clear ones don't have any THC. When they get cloudy, they got THC. When they go amber, the THC has transformed itself into CBN, which is your couch lock stuff. Yeah. So, yeah. So, and GrowDaddy likes that couch lock.
I love the couch lock. But at the same time, you know, this last stuff that I grew, the Cinderella and the stuff that I grew from last season, it all puts me pretty much on the floor. You know? Yeah, I go to sleep almost immediately. A lot of CBN in that stuff, which is really good stuff. So it's kind of nice. You know, one grow I do a little this way, and then I kind of back off it a little bit the next grow, and then I go, oh, you know what? Where's that CBN at? Let me have some more of that. And then I come back for some more. But it's really kind of a, you know, it's like when I smoke one of the girls, you know, I'll smoke quite a bit of it, and I'll just get tired of it. And then I'll start up something else, and it'll be like start up something new, and I'll go, oh yeah, you know, you taste even better than I remember.
That's really why you do the different strains every single grow, and it's like, it's not efficient, and if we wanted to really optimize and do all that, we would probably, you know, specialize in a strain. But what fun is that, right? You like the variety.
Well, I am still I'm a bud tender. I'm a bud tender in training. I still can't describe what I'm tasting when I taste buds.
But you notice the difference.
But I do notice a difference, and of course I can taste certain flavors. I just can't explain what I'm tasting. But nevertheless, well, I don't know what I was.
Well, you used to say like it's all just pot. It's just pot, and over the years, as you started growing the different strains, you started getting a little fussier.
I grow different strains, and I grow different strains because I want to know what's out there and what am I missing. Because to be quite honest, in 5 years, I've grown a few really good strains.
Hence the Shiskaberry. You loved that Shiskaberry.
Yeah, I really like the Shiskaberry, and we grew out 2 of them, and one of them, their terps are just loud. Oh man, Ivy just is so loud.
We'll see what happens with her.
Yeah, and Heather's much more mild, but a little bit different something going on there.
I found Heather so fruity and Ivy so much gassier, like dieselier. Considering they're both the same exact strain.
I think you're right, Mrs. GrowDaddy.
Yeah,
I think I didn't really notice that until today when we were really going through the bud and looking at it. That she was a little more diesely, or gassy.
So there's just one. Okay, speaking of harvest, like this is something that we do that I don't know if everybody does it, but you've just done it without question. It's called dry down. It's like the last few days of their life you quit watering them.
You know what? A lot of YouTubers do it, and I think I watched Mr. Canuck do it. A lot of stuff I do just because when I started growing, I saw somebody else doing it that was, had a lot of followers,
Smart.
had some good-looking plants. You just start following these guys and kind of doing what they do, and you don't know why you're doing it. And I'm doing it 5 years later. I'm still doing things that I don't know why I do them.
But wait, and we were going like, oh my God, is there anything? But we did, remember we looked it up on the internet, and there actually have been studies that show it's got some benefits. I can't remember what.
Well, and when she says dry down, that means what I'm doing is I stop watering. I let the plant get to a point where it is
actually drooping.
Where it's drooping, or I try to get the plant dry enough where it starts drooping, then it's time to harvest. I don't do the lights out.
No.
I don't do the lights out anymore. I used to. That's something Mr. Canuck does. I don't know who else does that. I don't watch a lot of people. And Mr. Canuck, he's only putting out 1 video a year now. So there's not much of him out there anymore. So you're looking at his old stuff. And what can I say? I miss you, Mr. Canuck. I used to love your videos. Now you just.
No, there's just not enough. Never enough, but he wants to.
Well, when you got a million plus subscribers, you know what? You don't need to put out a video more than once a year.
Yep. Okay, so now here's the meat of what we're doing with each season. It ends up being all this months of growing, and then it all has to do with our drying and our curing and the dew point method we use now.
We changed our whole drying method. We did 60-60. Most of the community dries at 60-60.
So what's 60-60? Let's just get that
60
straight.
degrees Fahrenheit, 60% relative humidity. And this is where most people have dried at. When you look it up on Google, because you're a new grower and you go, where do I dry at? You'll see every once in a while, you'll see somebody drying at 70-60, right? And you go, that one person's drying at 70-60. Every once in a while, somebody's drying at like 70-60, and then everybody else is 60-60.
Yeah, but 60-60 it's just kind of like the conventional wisdom. Everybody just used to do that, and it's just kind of what everybody says to do and old school stuff. But
well, we can't get temperatures down that low sometimes this time of year. If we're harvesting this time of year, we can get it down, but not down. Maybe not down to 60.
It was one summer
degrees.
where they say the necessity is the mother of
Last
invention.
year.
It was maybe, and anyway, but it was so hot we couldn't get to 60 degrees.
We were getting to about 69, 70 degrees down here. And that's as cool as we could get it in our dry room for drying for that week. And I started looking at alternatives, and I found Canitrol. They use a higher temperature with a 60. They use a 68-60.
It's like this. Okay, Canitrol is looks like a little wine refrigerator, and it's like it magically dries and cures your buds.
Yeah.
And it uses dew point, and we're like, what's dew point?
What's dew point? We looked up dew point. Let me tell you what, it's too fucking confusing to tell you guys.
It's so confusing. we
But like I
can't
said, do you really need to know the science?
No, you don't.
You just need to know that the science works.
Yeah.
And it does work, and it's worked for me. I think this is my at least third. This is my third harvest using this. And I use this during the winter. I put the heater on to get it up to 68 degrees.
So yeah, now we do 68, 60.
Yeah, roughly, because sometimes it fluctuates. We actually do dew point, like I did this season, where sometimes the temperature might be a little lower, a little higher. Dew point is the most important thing. And
so let me just say, the dew point is, it's like how there's a dew point calculator, and we use a dew point calculator. So let's say that you can only get to 68 degrees. You have to find out where is, like, I think it's a 54 degree dew point.
It's about 50. It's actually 3.8 or something. Dew point.
No, 54. 53
yeah.
or 54, and you wanna just go to your calculator
54.
and find out what you can achieve with your temperature or your humidity.
Listen, if you can get your environment to 68, 60, I suggest you guys drying your buds. My buds dry much better. They're the terps. They're not brittly dry on the outside. They just And you know what? You think you're using a higher temperature, things are going to dry faster? No. Slower dry. We went 8 days. We went 8 days this dry. And anyways, we do have a video on it though, if you guys want to check it out. We do have a whole video where we explain dew point.
Yeah.
We explain how we dry. And there's
how you don't need to achieve, like, basically, as long as you're getting the ratio right. It's like VPD, where you scramble to get what you can, what's most convenient for you and your devices, and just try and get it like that to have a perfect cure. And you know what else? Yeah. We discovered that, yeah, don't wait for your buds to snap. Don't wait for the snapping. It's too dry.
I'm also finding that at this drying at this dew point, that everything isn't getting that dried out phase. I almost feel like I could leave it in here for a week later and I would come back and things would be fine.
Yeah.
Whereas 60, when things are dry, you better get that shit in jars right now because things are drying out even more.
Oh my God. It's like think about a raisin, right?
Listen, I don't understand the science. I'm just telling you what I've observed and what happens with my grow. That's all I can do, you guys. I'm not a goddamn scientist. We are citizen science, just reporting what we see and what we have in front of us.
Yeah.
And you can do what you want with it. And we try to put everything in the spreadsheet.
That's right. And we're not paid by big humidity or big heat or big water.
Or big light or big anybody. Nobody pays us, so we're good.
So we're giving you the facts. And as far as the drying time, you were just saying, it doesn't seem to take a longer or shorter time.
It seems to take a little longer, actually. Yeah, if anything, it takes a little bit longer to dry.
Well,
it's funny, using more heat, 10 degrees more, it changes the whole dew point though, and I don't understand it. I'm just telling you guys that it takes even longer to dry.
But it took like 8 days this time, right?
Yeah. It took 8 good days, yeah.
And, and there was another thing we wanted to say too about these grow bags, and we did say it in our last yield. Like, they wanted us to let people know how to use them and to just have them filled between 50 to 80%.
Yeah, and we're going to end up using the grow bags.
You got some right there.
Yeah, we're going to end up using the grow bags. This is really for our display for our video, and what we will do is weigh things out, and as we put things back after we're done looking at them, we'll be putting them in bags versus the jars.
Yeah, because we're big fans of the grow, but GrowDaddy just loves the way those things turn out.
Here, let me get them. Hang on a minute. Let me hang on a minute there, Mrs. GrowDaddy. Let me dig them out here. So they sent me some grow bags. Okay, you guys. And, I've got a lot of the big ones.
I like your shirt, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Hey.
Woo.
Yeah, how do you like my hat, huh? We finally got some swag. Come on. So, at any rate, they do have all kinds of different bags, you guys. And I'm not paid. I just really appreciate them sending me bags. And I just want to tell you guys, I like the product because I just put this stuff in the bags. And I just feel like I don't have to really worry about it.
Set it and forget it.
But hey, if you can't afford the bags, you guys, if you get that stuff in the jars, get it in, put your hygrometers in a jar with it overnight. Make sure your humidity's under 62. between 62 and say 58. Make sure that humidity is in there somewhere with a hygrometer that is functioning correctly. Well, yeah, because you got to calibrate those things, and you can, and they're very easy to do. And we have a video on that as well, calibrating your hygrometer. Plus, there's a million videos out there if you guys want to try to calibrate.
But make sure you get it between that 58 to 62% humidity in there, because when you put it in the grow bags, the grow bags are not going to magically put humidity in or magically take it out. They're going to hold that. They're going to make it, they're going to keep it really nice where it was.
And I want to say, you know what I want to say to all that, Mrs. GrowDaddy? I want to say, I think.
Well,
we're not scientists. We don't know anything about these bags.
Also, these bags are kind of magic. They're kind of magic, yeah.
They're magic. I mean, I don't know how my phone works either, but for God's sake, I can call anybody around the world. It's magic.
Holy shit, it's magical.
Sometimes you just don't know. You just don't need to know how it works.
Yeah.
And these, I don't know how these bags work, but they.
But get your humidity right before you put it in the bags, and then, yeah.
Here's the bags, you guys.
And then don't overfill them and don't underfill them, right?
Oh, that's what I was going to talk about. Look, I'm high. So yeah. So anyway, they told me, they were telling me, and I'm passing this on to you guys because they saw a video of me showing some of my old stuff one time, and I only had a little bit in there. They were saying you really want to have these bags 80 to 50% full when you're using a bag.
For the best results.
Yeah, whatever size you're using, I imagine 80 to 50% full. And then you want to size down into something else. It's not doing the job. But I got to be honest with you guys. I'll go 5 months in a big bag and take that way down here, and everything's just fine. But at that point, when I get down here, then I want to put it in some smaller bags. And I want to get in smaller bags because actually now, because then by that time, my next harvest will have come and I'll be smoking that. And what I'll be doing is taking this old stuff and putting it away for a little longer and getting a really,
that's like your wine cellar.
I have a little wine cellar now, which is kind of nice. I really love smoking stuff that's cured, you know, for 6 months plus.
Yeah, like a little marijuana
it's
archive.
Weird. I've got some stuff that's almost 2 years old that I'm smoking, and I'm thinking that stuff probably peaked about 6 months ago, and it's still good.
Really?
It's still good. I mean, it's still good, and actually I think the longer it cured, it also brought out a, I don't know what you call them.
Different flavor profile?
Yeah, or just more of the flavor profile. I mean, really.
Some of it is really smooth.
It's also very, very tasty. I just absolutely love it.
So I think that's pretty much everything we wanted to talk about, honey. Should we go and look at some?
Yeah. So this is it. Hey, thanks you guys. Appreciate you guys for being with us. We have so many great people in our comments and people that like our video and everybody that views our video, of course. We really love you guys and appreciate everything you do for the channel.
Oh, God, yeah.
Without you guys, there's no us guys. And I'm telling you, every single week, we all kind of hang out and we get to just chill out and we get to have fun on Sunday morning at 6 a.m.
Oh, it's awesome.
It is awesome. Come on. Let's take a look at this stuff, get a good close look at it, and we'll give you the weights. And, well, what can I say?
Come on.
Come on. Okay, guys, we've made it. We've made it to our final yield segment where we're going to show you guys all the nugs, give you some nug porn, as it were. And we're gonna start out with Heather. And Heather was our RocketSeeds, our Shiskaberry from RocketSeeds, and she really did look beautiful, though, didn't she, Mrs. GrowDaddy? She looked, smelled gorgeous. She was a beautiful, beautiful girl, and she did really. We're really proud of you. Yes, we are, Heather. We're really proud. Heather got 5.22 ounces total. And that's 148 grams. That's what she got for the total yield. And she got 3.81 ounces. That's 108 grams of really, really dense bud. And she also got 1.41 ounces, which is 40 grams of what we would call B bud. So we're gonna show you, we're gonna dump out our A bud first.
Wait. How much larf did she get?
She got 0 larf.
All right.
She got 0 larf. Yeah, we didn't get any larf out of any of the girls, which we kind of really stayed away from, which is kind of nice. And so this right here would be 3.81 ounces here. And as you can see, these buds are all, wow, they look great, don't they? You can see that sugar on them, right? I don't even have my reading glasses on, and I'm getting blinded by looking at these girls. A lot of trichomes, a lot of beautiful girls. Getting a good shot at those? Okay. Beautiful. Oh, the trichomes. Can I spin one of them? Can I give you a little spin on this one? It's a light. You got to get in real tight to see those trichomes. Remember, you got to really, there you go. Get in there. And then we're going to show you. She's beautiful. She had a lot of trichomes, and as you can see, look, she's just dense. Okay, guys, I'm gonna break this bud. I hate breaking these, but so you can see these little buds on the bottom. They don't come off easy. See, they don't come off easy. See, it's just dense. Look at this. Oh man, that's what we got.
Let's hold that still. Let's just take a good look inside there.
Very dense, really good looking bud. Smells absolutely beautiful. Do you have any? Let me put one of these in your nose, Mrs. GrowDaddy. Okay, here, right here. Just keep down here. Tell me what you got there. Tell me.
Fruity, just so fruity.
Yeah, really smells fruity.
Mild and fruity, no gassiness at all.
Beautiful bud, absolutely beautiful bud, you guys. And let me just start putting this stuff away as Miss GrowDaddy's kind of showing it to you. And then I'm gonna get out the B bud and show you what we got for B bud.
Oh, that was the densest stuff, the A bud.
This was the A bud, the stuff that, you know, that I'm really proud of. I mean, this is the craft bud that we tried to get. We tried to get in the tent. Beautiful buds, beautiful. And they're all big. If you look, look how big they are.
They're good size. Yeah, you handle.
Are you kidding me? Look at those. I mean, those are big buds.
Here's a nice nug for you, buddy.
Yeah, so I'm really happy with this and having this quantity off of her. Of course, you know, 6 ounces is a real nice, would be real nice to get 6 ounces. It really would. You can't push what you can't push. What can I say? You know, girls.
We did our best.
We did our best. This is what we get. We did our best. What else are we going to do to get more? Probably nothing. This is what this genetic gave us. And here's what we're calling B bud, you guys.
Yeah.
And this is 1.41 ounces of the B bud. So these are buds.
They're dense.
Well, yeah, but they're buds that have been taken off the bigger buds on the bottom ones. And they're hard, right? They're nice. This would almost be called popcorn buds.
Yeah.
These are kind of like popcorn buds. They have lots of trichomes on them. I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem giving this away or smoking it.
They're little buds, but they're high quality.
We've only separated it for the show. Honest to God, when I put all this stuff in bags, it's all going to go with the A. Yeah. The A and B buds will end up going together. But you can just see, it's just, I mean, just look at that little tiny, look at all the trichomes on that.
Hold still, let's take a look.
I can see you're kind of in a shadow.
Yeah, let's see if I can get this.
Can you magnify that in a little bit? You getting a good shot? I can't see, Mrs. GrowDaddy. That's just a little, I mean, you can just see these things are just, these things are ladled with just.
Oh, and we're still not sure which one it was, but I'll try and put it somewhere. Where you were trimming one evening, and when you were trimming, you were like, hey, look at this. And it was like just a string of goop.
I think it was FERN.
Was it? Okay.
I think it was FERN.
I've never seen anything like that.
And we're gonna look at FERN next. And FERN was really, she was absolutely amazing, you guys. You'll see. Let's go check out FERN. Come on. Okay, let's take a look at FERN and see what she did in the tent this season. And I'll tell you what, FERN, she was from Terpyz, Mutant Genetics, and she was an Afghan Kosher, and
gorgeous.
She was gorgeous. I mean, beautiful to grow, gorgeous. Didn't get a really high yield off of her. We got a total of 4.34, giving us 123 grams. Not a big yield off of her at all. A little surprised, but I tell you what, wouldn't grow her differently. It's just what, you know, some genetics will produce a little less, some genetics will produce a little more. And her genetics, she gave me a lot of B bud, and that told me that, thank God, I didn't go any lower on the buds, trying to get more. So we really did get some really good smoke out of here.
How much larf?
We didn't get any larf. See, what a joy. We didn't get any larf, but we did get a lot of B bud. In fact, about half of it's B bud. Let me show you the A bud first. And as far as A bud, we got 2.08 ounces, which is 59 grams. Okay, and this is what we're calling her A bud, and she's really dense, and really looks good. Oh, smaller buds, as you can see right off the bat. You can see that all the buds are much smaller. Oh, this one's a beauty. Can you get in and get some? I can see the trichomes from here, Mrs. GrowDaddy. You got to be able to get into that, right?
Just hold it still for
I will. You just get in there and look at that.
Get in there and
really get in there close. Let me know when you want me to spin that a little bit, and we'll kind of give you a good look.
Okay, give it a twirl.
And what would you say? And also, hang on a minute. Let me just put one of these in front of you. What do you got there? What do you got there? Oh God,
Piney and a little bit cedary.
I smell a little woody, kind of woody.
Yeah,
but
I was gonna say maybe that's the sandalwood.
Is that the sandalwood? But other than that, I don't know. She produced some beautiful buds.
Wow.
And so let me just take this bud right here, Mrs. GrowDaddy. Let me just pop that in half. And you can see she's almost a little. She's not even as. I wouldn't call that bee bud. Oh, but these other ones, I just don't even see. Look at this one. They're dense.
They're tight.
And I could take that, and I mean that's dense. But I just want to take one of these bigger, fatter ones. See there? Now let's look at the trichomes in there.
Want me to get in there?
Yeah, she's
She's
juicy.
Let me see if I can get right in there.
Absolutely gorgeous. The smell is very, very, I would say woody, but very sweet, like a sweet wood, and that's what I look for.
Not like the turpentine smell,
or gassy, or anything like that. She's just absolutely beautiful. So she's really gorgeous. Like I said, she got us about half the yield in what we would call A buds. These are all really, really strong looking buds. Very nice. B buds, well, you're gonna see what we're gonna call B buds for her in just a second here.
Could have just like thrown it all onto the tray, but okay.
I could have, you're right, I could have.
Yeah, when we bag these up,
I didn't even think about it. I'm bagging them all up together anyway. I'm not separating it when I put it in the grow bags. So
kind of gives you a good idea about the total yield.
Oh, it does, doesn't it? Maybe I will throw it in there.
Yeah, what the hell? Throw it all in.
I'll throw it all in there. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't do that. It makes it look a little better when I show you that.
Well, it gives you an idea of like what the yield was from that one plant, and just at a glance to kind of take a look at it like this.
So over here is what we're calling the A bud, and you can see the difference. These are big, nice buds. Now these buds all got peeled off of these buds, and they're just smaller B buds, and they're really hard. I mean, and they're really, really sticky. As you can see, they have lots of really good stuff on them, and they'll be good smoke. They're just little tiny buds. They're just not big buds, and I think I even had a piece. This is a piece of real larf. This is all the larf she gave me. We
couldn't count it.
It's not even worth counting because it's not even a fraction of a gram, But just to be honest with you guys, that's about all the larf we got in her at all. The rest are all really nice bee buds. She's looking just absolutely gorgeous.
Oh wow, this is some.
Can you get in there close and show? So even the bee, even our bee buds, you can see how lined with trichomes they are. But then I look over here and I really see a lot more trichomes. It could be because some of the buds are a little darker and they're showing a little more. I'm looking at this one. Oh, it's gorgeous, just absolutely gorgeous, beautiful.
Bag appeal.
Bag of people. Bag of people. Fern. Yeah, she's got a lot of bag appeal. Didn't even talk about bag appeal. She looks really, really good. Total yield is only 4.34 ounces. And for me, that's a little bit, what can I say? I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed with getting under 5 ounces on anything. But I don't look at any regrets on this. I look like I got some really, really, really nice product, and it looks like I'm really going to enjoy it. And I will let you guys know how I like all this stuff, just like I'm gonna let you know how I haven't done a smoke report, but I'm definitely gonna do a report on the girls here pretty soon for my last season to tell you, because now they've cured for 6 months and I'm smoking them and they're just wonderful. So let's check out Sage, you guys, and go look at Sage, because Sage was the little girl in the tent that, well, what can I say? She did pretty good. Let's take a look at Sage. Come on. Okay, we got Sage now, and Sage was our Chemy Lemmy from NectarGenetics, and she was our little runt in the tent, but we always have a runt for some reason. She just didn't stretch out. She grew really good, and well, she was growing a little smaller than the rest throughout the whole grow, but she really didn't stretch in the transition, and it caused her to be really small, and we just grew her out like we always grow our normal runts out. We really on the top, we really try not to go down. She's really condensed, and she turned out really nice. Got a lot of really good stuff on her. A lot of really nice trichomes. Her total weight was 3.78. I thought for sure she was ounces, and that would be 107 grams. Really thought she was going to get over 4. She looked really good. Her buds look great. I mean, let's take a look. Let's take a look at her A buds first. She got some really nice buds. I mean, this is that little tiny girl, you guys. And these buds are hard. They're just like little rocks. And this is craft bud at its best right here, you guys.
Were these are the A buds?
These are the A buds. Obviously, Mrs. GrowDaddy. Jeez, oh Peas, oh, look at all the stuff on there.
You know, honestly, to me, the B buds really actually look really good too. But
yeah,
they're just smaller.
Yeah, really looking good.
These are definitely looking frosted.
Yeah, and let's get a close look at this one, okay? Can you get on that one?
Oh my! Can I keep it still? Wow, yeah.
How's that look, Miss GrowDaddy?
It looks pretty frosty. I'm
gonna
get in even closer.
Yeah, and there's how it fits in the hand, you guys. Just like that. It's a nice bud. Let me pop that thing open in the middle and see what we got. And you can see how dense it is.
Let's see what you get. And there's some nice smells. This is the lemon.
Yeah. Oh, I can't even break that stem. The stem won't even break. Oh, she is. Look at her. She's just sticking to my hands.
Sticky.
Yeah. So.
Sticky and icky.
Yeah, I can't even break her in half.
Let's take a look.
That stem won't even break.
Oh, and the smell. Wow, it's got a really good smell. Good. It is lemony, and it's sweet sort of lemon.
Here, hang on a minute.
Can you smell it?
Yeah.
It's kind of fruity.
Yeah. You know, I'm just bad. There's lemon in there and just some other fruits. Yeah, you're right. It's kind of lemony, fruity, and you know,
almost smells artificial.
She's so sticky to the touch. I mean, she's very, very sticky. Looks really, really nice. Did a great job. Let me show you guys what we got. Now we had on her,
wow, it's like perfume, by the way.
2.7 ounces, okay? 79 grams. That's what we got on A bud. And we got 0.99 ounces, which is 28 grams of B bud.
And I'll put the sidebar on there.
This is the B bud right here. Okay. It's just the smaller buds that were below it. You can see they're all hard. That should have made it almost in the harder buds, but I think because it was smaller, I threw it over here. Yeah, these are all hard. I mean, there's nothing larfy. They're just B buds because they were under the other ones, but you can see there's...
Oh, I've got to say the aromas on this one, just incredible.
Yeah, it's just my hands are getting sticky just touching on. Lot of trichomes sticking up my hands on sage.
This is the one that she had the more amber on her.
Yeah, sad to say, only 3.78 ounces. You know, I had relatively low yields on everything. And you'll see Ivy did pretty good, but she could have done a little better too. And we'll take a look at her next. Let's take a look at Ivy and show you guys what we got for her in the grow. Come on. Okay, last but not least is Ivy. Ivy was our other Shiskaberry from RocketSeeds in the tent, and she was a monster, the whole grow. From beginning, you could see...
Yeah, she was out of control.
You could see her from seedling. She was bigger than everybody else, and she kept on growing bigger than everybody else. She was really, really a monster, but I'll tell you what she did do. She gave us some seeds. For no reason. Genetics, no reason. There wasn't too much stress. I didn't stress them out with water. I didn't stress them out with light. I didn't stress them out with heat. There was just, I babied these girls the whole season.
Ivy, what's your excuse, girl?
Yeah, she just...
You had a perfect life.
Well, I think she wanted to transition. At any rate, let me show you what we got with her, because our total weight for her was 5.85 ounces, just under 6 ounces, you know, and she got 166 grams. So, well, what can I say? I am disappointed in the yield that I got from her as well. But I can't be.
Yeah, we were talking 7.
We were hoping 7. I don't know about talking 7. We were hoping 7. But overall, she has terps that express more than anybody else and take over the whole room. So she's got some.
And she's kind of gassy.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, for A buds, she got 3.77 ounces of A buds. So that's not bad. Look how big those buds are, Mrs. GrowDaddy. Those buds are huge.
Big.
She got some big honkers. She got some really big honkers and a lot of them. And as you can see, let me see. And here's the last one of A buds. And we got 2 jars of B buds. We got lots of buds. Look at the size of these.
Oh my God, I'm smelling it.
Yeah, they're monsters.
And
look at the sparkles on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she got really frosty. All the girls got really frosty. She looks absolutely delicious. Her buds are really, really hard. You know, her top buds. We got no larf, by the way, on her at all. And we got, like I said, a total of 3.78 ounces. Or no, excuse me, now I'm quoting Sage. Let's back up a little bit, you guys. She got a total of 5.85 ounces, 166 grams. And this A-bud, 3.77 ounces A-buds, 107 grams. Look at these buds. I don't know, it's hard. Look how thick they are. Look, that's just dense, and they are super sticky. Super sticky. Super sticky.
Wow.
Yeah. Check that out, you guys.
Stay still. Just get in there and take a look.
Yeah, she's looking beautiful. You know, I'll tell you what. That was like the last Shiskaberry I grew. You know, a couple seasons ago.
Let's look for seeds.
Oh yeah, I forgot she has seeds. Yeah, there's not many. I mean, as I trimmed her, she popped out about 5 or 6 seeds, and you know, not a lot of seeds. But I'll tell you what. As you get through here, there's going to be a few seeds popping out of her for sure. I don't feel that she's just overcome with seeds. I think sometimes you buy some pot and it's got some bag seed in it, and that's kind of what you're going to get from this stuff. Is you're going to get some bag seed, and you want to know what? There's nothing I can do about it, you guys. I mean, I treated her good. I mean, I treated her with the most respect. She got water every day. She didn't want for anything, Mrs. GrowDaddy.
I know.
And for her to have seeds almost makes me as a parent think I did something wrong, but I know I didn't. I know I didn't. And here's the bee buds, you guys.
It's on you, Ivy.
It's on you. And here's the bee buds. And see, all these bee buds that I've gotten and all this stuff has told me that I did a good job with going up higher. Because if I look now, this is a bigger bud, but it's not larvae, but it's not dense either. Yeah. You know, that's bee bud. The bee bud on this is so good.
Yeah.
That I won't have a problem.
It's just being really fussy.
It's being fussy, and that's what we're all about, is fussiness.
Muffin top fussy.
Yeah, and this stuff was probably under the top buds. It was underneath them for the most part. And for whatever reason, it just didn't get the hard. But look, not even close to larf. In fact, if I bought that at a dispensary, I wouldn't complain for a minute. And like I said,
picky.
Well, I'm not, because I'm not going to have any problem giving this away. I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad about anything I grew here at all. I feel it's really good. I'm disappointed that she gave me seeds. I'm disappointed that she didn't get over 6 ounces. But those can be genetic traits and have nothing to do with me as a grower. I felt like I gave them the proper light, gave them the proper nutrients, and it's up for them to eat, to enjoy the sun, to get big, to grow. And sometimes you're going to get a 6 foot plus, you know, child. And sometimes you're going to get a 5'5". It's just in the genetics. There's nothing you can do as a grower. All we can do is, what can I say? There was no stress involved, so I know nothing had to do with me. Sometimes I dry back the girls and I do different things that'll stress out the girls. This last season, I did nothing, and you can see you're going to get this stuff, you know, sometimes anyway. But
it just is what it is. And you know what? I got to tell you,
there's no seeds laying on the screen.
It smells. It is turpentine.
Is it to you? Is it turpentine?
It smells like freaking turpentine.
It is a little bit. Yeah. You're right.
Gassy.
You're right, it is gassy. And, you know, she did smell...
Easily or whatever.
She smelled a lot like Heather, you know, the other Shiskaberry, most of the grow. She always had really, really high terps, but she is just screaming. She's so... Her terps are so loud. She is absolutely screaming, you guys. She is... I don't know.
Stinky girly.
And I'll let you guys know how she smokes, because real soon we're going to let you know. I'm going to talk about... Actually, real soon, we're going to do a smoke report for season 9, and we're going to get that out to you guys. I'm going to let you guys, it'll be a short one because I don't have a lot to say, but we will show you what they look like after curing for, you know, 6 months, and I can also talk about a little bit about the taste or who I enjoy the most, so on and so forth. So let's get at it. Oh,
hey, did you want to look at some trim?
You know what? Let's look at some trim next. Let's take a look at the trim. This wasn't all I got. I also took trim off, an unbelievable amount of trim. You can see these buds. I've done a real good job trimming these buds. And that's where some of my weight went, is trimming these buds.
That's true. You were kind of
I got I got 6 ounces of trim, and I didn't, and I take off when I put those hang those girls upside down. I trim off all the big fan leaves.
Yeah, you just pull them off, throw them away.
Anything close, and I only want to save any leaves on there that might have a lot of sugar on them, which will be the sugar leaves. And if they didn't have, if those sugar leaves look more like fan leaves, they've come out, I'll still take them off.
So that trim is going to be good for your oil or maybe bubble hash.
I'm going to make bubble hash, and I actually have a bunch of stuff to go with it from last season, and maybe even the season before, where I have a bunch of trim, and it's time to do a bubble hash and get a bunch of hash. And speaking of that, I'm going to show you the keef and the trim that I got from this. So let's take a look at it, Mrs. GrowDaddy. Come on. Just wanted to show you the whole yield, you guys, because when you talk about the whole yield, I peeled off 6 ounces of trim, which was quite a bit. I did a good job trimming these girls, and as you can see, the trim on these girls, it's just completely coated with trichomes.
Are you going to pour it out or just?
No, I'm not going to make a big old mess.
Let's take a look.
You can take a quick look, but it's just trim. I don't want to glorify this with close-ups, Mrs. GrowDaddy. You're going to really make me. They're going to make fun of me in the comments if you do that. But another thing that I got. Check this out, Mrs. GrowDaddy.
Let's close up of the
I got some keef from my tray. That was underneath my tray. And see that bigger stuff in there?
Yeah.
That stuff I peeled off of my scissors when I was trimming. It's you know, that sticky stuff, gunk, and it's just gunk. And that's all going to go in my. Wow. That's going to go in a tincture, or I should say, it's going to go in my. No, not my bubble hash. It'll end up getting put in my my oil.
Oh, right.
This is what also helps me make my oil, because I put in a bunch of keef and a bunch of. Well, actually, a bunch of bubble hash. I add that to whatever I'm using for my oil.
That's Daddy's bedtime medicine.
And I try to get it as strong as possible, because you know, it'll last a long way and go a lot further. Anyways, that's it for that, you guys. So anyway, that's it. That's our season, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed season 10. We are going to be doing a kickoff, I think, next week. So stay tuned. We're going to be doing a whole kickoff for our new season. We're using all of
Quebec cannabis seeds.
Yeah, I think we've got it down to the black bud. I think people have decided it's going to be the black bud.
I think people have weighed in.
So, anyways, we'll talk about that in our kickoff, and we'll get the seeds started next week, germinating. Can't wait, you guys. Love you guys. Thanks again, you guys, for everything this season, for all the comments, all the likes,
all the nice support. We love you guys. Thank you so much.
If you only knew how much that means to us, getting the support and the likes, it makes us want to do more videos.
Yeah.
So keep on liking, and please subscribe. And this all pushes our stuff out to other people, other beginners, people that might benefit. They might benefit from this. Love you guys. We'll see you guys. Well, we'll see you guys next season.
Next week.
Next season, though. It's next season.
Next season is next week.
Love you guys. See you guys next season. Can't wait to get it started again. Come on!
Oh.
Come on, Mrs. GrowDaddy. I'm talking to you, bitch.
Did you say? What did you say?
Bitch.
You call me a bitch?
Wait, no.
Okay.
Okay.
So how about lights? Let's talk about our brand new lights and how you use them this season.
Got some nice new lights, you guys, from Mars Hydro. Thank you again, Mars Hydro, for giving us lights.
Oh, and there's a discount code in the description. Let's start that all over.
Yeah, you have. You've made it for our final harvest. Come on. I don't know what else comes after that.
Are you?
Made it to episode, what, 18, 19?
20.
Episode 20. This is another harvest video.
Yield video. Okay. Here, I wonder if I can just.
We'll get, after we're done, we'll get everything. Everything weighed out. Okay.
Or just go. So anyway.
So anyway.
And then we have to give him that pose after you guys are there. Yeah. No, I will. I'll be right here when you start. And I'll start. Yeah. What will happen is, I'll go like this. So anyways, right, I'll go so. I understand. So anyway.
Larf.
Not larf. There's no larf.
No, we didn't do the other one. That's okay. No.
Okay.
was it.
I think so.
That was it.